Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Welcome into First Pitch for Monday, August 9th. I am Drew Martin, your host, joined by Bryan Leonard and Tony Finn, getting your week off right, hopefully finding you more winners than losers on the diamond here. This is First Pitch. Bryan, happy Monday morning to you. Welcome into the show, buddy.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be back on the show. I missed you guys and ready to talk some baseball.
Ready to talk some baseball as well as we're breaking down every single game on the card. Talk about every game on the board here. College football podcast coming up at Sports Memo at the end of the month. We're breaking them all down, every game on the board here in baseball. Next guest up, Tony Finn. Tony, happy Monday morning to you, buddy.
Right back at you guys, both of you. It's a good day out here in the monsoon season in Las Vegas. Wonderful days, humid, mosquitoes. Good stuff.
All right, Las Vegas, Nevada. Tony and Bryan, I'm actually coming to you from Florida. We'll be in Las Vegas tomorrow, though, so be out there with you, Tony. And, guys, we're usually breaking down 4 games on the card with best bets at the end, but there's 5 games on the card today. Robert and James, Joe behind the scenes gave us the okay. So we're going to hit all 5 for you here at a little bit faster tempo. You know, talking about tempo and offense in football, we're going to go at a little bit faster pace here throughout the games. But let's start it up here. We got a happy hour special, 6:10 Eastern, 3:10 Pacific first pitch here. The Indians and the Reds. We get a little AL-NL Central battle here. Hench's going for the Indians, Bryan. Always interested in your opinion on the Cleveland baseball team. And Luis Castillo going for the Reds. We're seeing a heavy favorite here. That's the Cincinnati side, minus 175 road favorites, 9.5 being the total. You liking anything here, Reds and Indians, Bryan?
Yeah, we've got all 5 games where we've got some pretty impressive favorites on the board. This is actually the lowest favorite on the board. We're looking at about a 175 on the Cincinnati Reds here. But if I was to play this game, it would be looking at Cincinnati. Cincinnati against lefties over the last month has a WRC plus of, I believe, 115. Cleveland doesn't hit righties very well. So a big advantage, probably about 25 to 30% advantage offensively for the Cincinnati Reds here. And I've been fading Hench's all season long. He's a big lefty for the Indians, about 6'7", something in that range. And anytime you've got a starter that's that tall, you have a lot of problems with the mechanics. When he's good, he's pretty good. When he's bad, he's really bad. And he's been really bad a lot so far this year. So I'm always looking to fade Hench's. Castillo's been a guy, turning it on the second half of the season. Just a horrendous first half of the season. But you take a look at his advanced stats, and they really weren't that bad. So it was an easy thing to look at and see that he'd be turning it around, and he's turned it around in a major way as of late. He's just probably been the best pitcher in baseball over the last month or so, last 2 months. So you got Cincinnati with a big offensive advantage here, and they played pretty well on the road this year. I think if you're playing this game, I would look to play Cincinnati. Cleveland's just been a team that I said earlier in the season they were overrated. And Cleveland's starting to go back to the pack, and now they're bringing up their younger players. So you're getting a lot of younger players playing for Cleveland. Cincinnati still has a chance to make the playoffs. So you got the team that has something to play for. It's not on my card. In fact, I don't have any baseball plays today. My only play I've got up on the site is the opening night college football, I believe, is on the 28th of August. And it's only $9 today, $9 Monday. So if you want to grab that, that's the best I can do for you today. Is the baseball really, with these high lines, has been tough to handicap today. But if I was forced to play this game, it'd be on the Cincinnati Reds.
You know, Tony, we're getting Luis Castillo here over a strikeout an inning. He's had 7+ Ks in each of his last 4 starts. Like Brian just touched on, he's kind of bringing it of recent. He's a pitcher I have circled as bet on right now. We get Henches going for the Indians here. Former 4th rounder, kind of a quasi starter. He's got some relief appearances as well here, Tony. I mean, we get the better bullpen with Cleveland. And also kind of a profile type of bet I like to stay away from, Tony. Interested in your thoughts on this. We're getting the NL team laying, near -180 on the road at the AL team, of course, with the DH in effect. I really don't like that profile. So I didn't bet this game either, especially with the favorite, even though Cincinnati's lineup is hot right now. It's 90 degrees, 12-mile-an-hour winds projected blowing out towards center field in Cleveland tonight. Did you have any interest here, Tony?
I did, but I liked 3 games. I really liked all 5 games, to be honest with you. I had an opinion that I could support pushing across the counter on all 5 games, and I didn't do it. I played 2. I released them. They're live right now. You can get both of them for $9 in a package only at WagerTalk. And but I did like this game. And to the truth, the profile and how this game's being presented, as you just outlined, at this time of year, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think I mentioned on one show, I don't remember, it wasn't the show because we haven't been on it since, I haven't been on it since Wednesday, I think. I guess I was on Friday, but for somebody else. But my point is this, and that is we're seeing some September lines already. I typically, when they expand rosters and teams we even have more teams, lame ducks than there are right now. And you have those -200, -250, -300 all across the board, and it becomes a situation where it doesn't really fit my style of handicapping because even small, even -140, -150 road teams, I'm laying a run and a half. I just don't like to do that, lay that juice, So that said, I do like Castillo. You mentioned this Castillo. He's 6-10. I think 4.4 and change, 4.10, 4.09 ERA, 128 to 54 K to BB ratio. And you mentioned the better bullpen. Well, the Indians are going to throw their bullpen today. That's what they're doing, right? Because this is basically an opener scheme. In fact, if you're playing this game or you're getting ready to lay into this game or push into this game, then I suggest you list Castillo and Cleveland action because there's no guarantee that if it is a bullpen scheme or an opener scheme, there's a lot of guys that they can use out of the box. It doesn't necessarily have to be Hingis. If you guys would agree with that or disagree, please pitch in. But listen, Cincinnati's playing well. If they didn't have the worst bullpen in baseball, guys, you'd have to take them. You at this point in time, you'd have to take them seriously in this division, at least for a wild card in the National League. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Cincinnati Reds, they're a pesky team. I mean, they're a profitable team. They got a hot lineup right now. I'm with you, Tony. I'm not necessarily looking to bet against the Cincinnati Reds. For me, what kept it off of, I don't like laying -180 with an NL team at the AL ballpark. I think that works against them. But we can get more into that in the show. We got Milwaukee and Chicago Cubs up next. And huge shout out to the chat box, guys. We got Patrick, Johnny Outlaw, Ty in the house, Sean as well. A lot of guys in here. Chat box is live. Come and join us on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. We got Jose de Nicaragua. Bienvenidos. So we got Central America watching right now. Let us know where you're watching from. And what picks you're looking to bet in the chat box, Wager Talk YouTube, also on Twitter as well. Please smash that like button if you're liking the content here. Tony, next game up, 8:05 Eastern, Milwaukee Brewers, Chicago Cubs here. Freddie Peralta, -180 favorites here at Alex Mills in Wrigley Field here. Total of 9. You liking anything here? Brew Crew and Cubs tonight, Tony.
Yeah, this is my best bet for the show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this.
Yeah, we'll wait for that.
I'll just say this. I'll say Freddie the GOAT Peralta versus Mills. That's all I'm going to say. We'll get to you later.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait to see which side Tony really likes in this game in Wrigley Field tonight with Freddie the GOAT Peralta and Alex Mills going for the Cubs. But, Brian, I'll throw it over to you. -180 favorite here, Chicago Cubs. The big underdogs at home. They have hit better at home if you go by their full season metrics. The only problem with doing that, Brian, is a lot of those guys are gone. We got a total tonight of 9. Looks like wind blowing out towards center field at 11 miles per hour, 80 degrees in Chicago. You liking anything here, Brewers and Cubs?
I remember back in the days when if somebody called you a goat, it was a bad thing. So obviously it's changed. I did want to touch on Cincinnati. You talked about their bullpen. They did get a couple big arms. Lorenzen and Mills are going to be back. Lorenzen's been back a couple of games. Mills coming back tonight. So that'll help the Cincinnati bullpen. And I think with what the moves they made over the break, I think the bullpen should be in better space because we're looking to bet forward, not backward. But I understand that the bullpen has really struggled there all year long. But Milwaukee and Chicago here, you got to keep in mind that Chicago Cubs have traded away just about anybody on that team with a heartbeat. So they're really playing with a minor league team at this point, a AAA, 4A team. So you're not going to see the Cubs laying many prices the rest of the season. Milwaukee's a team leading the division, looking really good coming into the playoffs. And Freddie Peralta has been one of these guys that he's just come out of nowhere this year. You take a look at his advanced stats. He's been excellent across the board. He's been tremendous. His batting average is 160, leading the league. It's been tremendous the way he's pitched. The last 2 starts going into the previous start, he was in a limited pitch count. They're trying to limit his pitches a little bit, getting ready for the playoffs. Because you go back and look at the last 2 years, I believe the most innings he's pitched was 85 in 2019. So they're trying to limit those numbers a little bit. Although last time out he pitched, a full 6 innings. So if Milwaukee's got a lead after 5, it wouldn't be a surprise here if Peralta does the 5 and fly here. So if you're betting strikeouts and things like that, keep that in mind. But there's no way I want to play the Cubs in this point. Mills has actually pitched very well against Milwaukee in his career. He's faced them 3 times the last 2 years. His average game score, I believe, is about a 58. So based on the Cubs' inability to hit, Milwaukee with Peralta on the board, I wouldn't expect much at all out of Chicago. So maybe the Chicago team total under. But I think with a total of 9 here, I think overall the under in the entire game 9 is worthy of a wager here. That'd probably be my better bet out of this bunch. I'm still not a big believer in the Milwaukee bats. I know they've hit better lately, but I think the under here with the success Mills has had against Milwaukee is nice. He could probably give up 5 runs and this game stays under with no problem because of the Chicago offense. So I like the under 9 in this situation.
All right, looking towards the under in Wrigley Field for Bryan Leonard. We got 3 games left. Best bets at the end. The chat box chiming in with locations here. Bronx coming in from Alaska. We got Eric from the Motor City here. We got James saying his location is actually classified. So thanks for that, James. As we head to the 3rd game, Chicago White Sox and Minnesota Twins. We get Bo Burrows going for the Twins here, and Giolito going for the White Sox, Brian. We're seeing the White Sox minus 190 favorites, 9.5 the total in Minnesota. Looking at Burrows here, no more than 3 innings this year. Also, his numbers are terrible. Minnesota's bullpen not that great. The White Sox, on the other hand, their bullpen a lot better of recent, Brian. The fact is, Giolito giving up 6 earned runs, 3 home runs his last time out, and only 4 innings versus Kansas City. Not sure what's up with that. He might be a difficult handicap here if he can bounce back or not. Big part of the handicap, Brian. What are you thinking, White Sox and Twins tonight?
Yeah, most of the time when I get a really good or elite pitcher that had a bad outing, I look for him to come out and pitch well. But you take a look at what Minnesota's done against righties over the last month. The WRC plus is about 130. Minnesota's really hitting the ball well right now. I know they made some changes, traded some guys away during the trade deadline, but this is a team with a lot of talent. Minnesota's a lot better team than what they've shown this year. They were expected to battle with Chicago and Cleveland to be the divisional winner coming into the season. And the offense is really playing well. They just don't get much pitching. And you mentioned Burrows is a guy who I expect to probably pitch 2-3 innings here. And you talked about the Minnesota bullpen. They haven't been good all season long. Chicago's a team that could score on anybody. We're looking at a total of about 9.5 here. And I do see some 10s out there, but the only way I could look in this game is it to be a high-scoring affair. 2 teams with very good offenses. Giolito's been one of those guys who's been very consistent this year. When he's good, he's really good. But when he's been bad, he's gotten hit pretty well. So I expect a lot of runs to be scored here. Burrows is a guy that I don't think is very good Minnesota will be bringing up a couple guys. Ryan pitched in the Olympics. He should be coming up pretty soon. They've got a couple other guys in the minors we'll be seeing, but Burrows isn't one of the guys that they're resting their laurels on here. So I would expect a higher scoring game here. I look for the over. We're getting a couple 9.5s. We got some 10s. Obviously, you can get that 9.5, lay less than 120. I think that's a pretty good bet.
You know, Tony, we got Lance in the chat box saying, cool name, Bo Burrows. And that's what I thought when I was first researching him, because I haven't seen him pitch yet. And in his name, Bo Burrows, it kind of comes off the tongue very, very nicely there. The fact is his numbers aren't very good here, Tony. So that's why I think this White Sox lineup is really going to do some damage. Looking towards the White Sox, but minus 190, that's a little bit too rich. Maybe on the run line here, maybe towards the over. What are you thinking, Tony?
Bo Burrows, his head after most appearances. Okay, let's go on. Bo, you're going to have a bullpen game tonight. Essentially, what you just mentioned, Burrows is he's not stressed out. He's not going to be able to pitch deep. If he could pitch deep, he probably wouldn't pitch deep. The White Sox really have gotten healthy, especially at the plate. And arguably, guys, this I can make an argument that there's not a better pitching staff, at least a better five, and they're going to have a problem going to 3. I shouldn't say. I think Keuchel's an automatic out. If he makes the postseason roster, it will be from the out of the pen. But this, what Cease did, I mean, you didn't see the best of Cease yesterday, but this Chicago pitching staff is dynamite. It's dynamite. And while Giolito wasn't bad, was never very good against KC last start, there was a win that Ron Kolpa had a small strike zone in that game. Giolito gave up 3 home runs. And the thing about Giolito is he's an extreme fly ball pitcher. I mean, you'll see. Let me see what the numbers are for this year. Just make sure I'm not. This season, 112 ground ball outs, 226 fly ball outs. He gave up 3 home runs to Kansas City in Chicago in the last start. And the wind was favorable. The weather was, everything was favorable for the ball to travel, and it did, and it cost Giolito, and they lost 9-1. Tonight, they're at Target with the wind blowing in. Not that the wind matters much at Target. It's the ball just doesn't carry very well at Target, and it's a pretty good situation for this White Sox team that's knocking the crap out of the ball, the cover off the ball, and they're facing a Twins team that they'll play loose. You know, you just got a Twins team that beat Houston 3 out of 4, right? They're playing loose. However, Houston had some issues. Houston rested out too. They rested some players. Tonight, Chicago, everybody calls, I say I like Chicago here, I like Chicago there, and then they'll say, but Chicago has nothing to play for. They have that big. Well, they do have something to play for. They have a lot to play for. A lot of these guys are on incentive-based programs that get them extra money depending on their stats, depending on how they produce. And secondly, this team wants to be the best record in the American League. They want to have the best record in the American League. They have a lot to play for, and there's no way you can justify playing Minnesota tonight unless you know Giolito is tanking. That's my opinion.
All right, good stuff, Tony. As we got 2 games left in the chat box, some guys chiming in. Joe coming to us from Philadelphia, not classified anymore. Sean in Las Vegas. Beast 51 from Stubbornville, Ohio. Love it, guys. Daryl from Virginia, Rick from Cali, all welcome in, guys. We got Canada in the house from Lance and Derek as well. So, guys, thanks for joining us. Please smash that like button as we're heading down the list here. All 5 games on tonight's card, Tony. Next game up, New York Yankees finding some life of recent versus the Kansas City Royals. Their offense is really cooled off here. Hernandez going for the Royals at home. Jamison Taillon going for the Yankees, commanded a minus 175 price tag. Total of 10 in Kansas City. We're seeing 90 degrees, 13-mile-an-hour winds projected blowing out towards center field. What are you thinking tonight, Tony? Yankees and Royals.
It's hot and humid in Kansas City. I think it's gonna be. What'd you say? What do you have for the first pitch temp?
I had 90 degrees.
90 feels like 105 then probably in Kansas City. Muggy, humid, somewhat relieved by that stiff breeze that you just mentioned. And a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind blowing out at Kauffman Stadium. the K is one of those venues. It's one of those has a park factor that's a handful. When the wind is blowing in or the wind is blowing out at Kauffman, the way that's set up is over the fountains where the I-70 sits above. It's significant. And what I mean by it shows up in the metrics. When the wind's blowing out like tonight, hard contacts typically, or exit velocities typically a little bit better. And I know that probably physics don't substantiate that the wind will help exit velocity, but it helps home runs. Routine fly balls at K with 15 mile an hour winds or more, routine fly balls become routine home runs. And Talion has gone from being, in his career, he's always been a ground ball pitcher, ground ball heavy pitcher, or at least 50-50 kind of guy. 47% I think is what his average was, his career average. He's now a fly ball pitcher. Why? Because he was trying to increase his K rate when they moved him over to the Yankees, and the pitching coaches got with him and they said, "Listen, we're gonna make you go from a 2-seam to a 4-seam heavy arsenal. We want you. We don't want you throwing that sinker. We want you throwing the 4-seamer a couple more miles an hour and a little more movement everywhere, as opposed to down off the table." And it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. He has increased his strikeouts a little bit, but he's also, his walks are up a little bit. And while the metrics and while negative regression has yet to show its ugly face, it will. Now that we're in August, home runs are going to be a problem for Talion with his arsenal and the fly balls that he's giving up. 47% fly ball rate. This is a guy that was 27% fly ball rate last year and the short season, and back to 2019. It's significant. He's given up, how many has he given up this year? Probably, let me pull it out here, 16 home runs this year so far. It's significant. And tonight, with that wind blowing out, and yes, Rizzo's out, guys. Sanchez is out, but Sanchez is backup. Kyle H., you guys, I'm not very good with these, that Asian name, but he's made 6 straight starts. He's a guy that's played more than any backup catcher in the American League for Sanchez. He's played almost 50% of the games. Over 9.5 tonight in Kansas City seems to be a dead mortal lock.
All right, looking towards the over. Good information there. Park factors, Tony. And guys, Johnny Outlaw in the chat box chiming in as well with the weather. I might have underestimated that, Tony. I'm seeing 92 degrees at 7 p.m. local time, 94 degrees at 6 p.m. local time, that being before first pitch. Feels like 109 and 107. Yeah. Southwest wind at 13 miles per hour. So this is all lining up here for the ball to be flying.
Yes, it is.
That's going off of daily baseball data weather there for tonight. So guys, Tony bringing the heat with the park factors here. Brian, what are you liking here, Yankees and Royals tonight? Okay, we got Bryan Leonard. It looks like he's frozen. Yeah, and it's
he's in a doctor's office. They gave him a shot. He got the vaccine. He's frozen.
Yeah. He's faking his frozen shot.
We're trying to make the story better here. We're trying to make the story better.
You're watching on YouTube. It sounds like we got him in mid-thought there. But I would give the bullpen rankings here actually towards the Royals, very surprisingly. 6th in my bullpen rankings, whereas the Yankees, at least in the last month, guys, which I heavily kind of factor in, 15th best bullpen. So really middle of the pack there for the Yankees. Tough to lay a big price here. I thought Tony brought the heat in terms of it being hot in Kansas City and looking towards the over, guys, with the 4th game there. Now we got a good one here in the nightcap, Tony, as we're breaking down each and every game, guys. We get the Miami Marlins and the San Diego Padres, 10:10 Eastern here. This is the nightcap, 7:10 Pacific. Now we go down to, Southern California there, Tony, 70 degrees. We're getting Thompson going for the Marlins, Musgrove going for the Padres here. -250 favorites, so heavy favorites here. That's the Pods at home. 7.5 being the total. A couple things I brought out of this one, Tony. Always keep in mind, whenever a team is leaving Colorado, watch out. How that team's going to perform. It could be a huge question mark here, Tony. And sure enough, they're going from the highest elevation to almost sea level here at Petco Park, a pitcher's park at that. 7.5 being the total. The Miami Marlins just let up 33 runs in 3 games. That's more than, you can do the math there, more than 10 runs a game to the Colorado Rockies. So watch out with this Miami bullpen, which actually, Tony, has been one of the more surprising bullpens in all of Major League Baseball. By a lot of the metrics, a top 10 bullpen for the full season numbers. They also scored 14 offensively. So for whatever reason, the last 3 games, this team has lit up the scoreboard, both offensively and, more importantly, their bullpen, their starting pitchers has not been good. This is a road team 20-38 on the road, where the Padres are 38-23 at home. So you can see why we're getting a huge price here on the Padres at home. I personally like the over here, mainly towards the Marlins side, meaning, look, team total for the Padres offense to go over. Also game total towards the over, as well as the Padres bullpen hasn't been as good of late. But Tony, interested in your thoughts here on the nightcap.
Well, I'll make a comment on your bullpen. The Padres bullpen has been, as of late, not very good. But overall, they have one of the most talented bullpens, and one that in the last month got healthier, correct? Here's the problem with the Padres bullpen, and that is, as good as they've been, and they've been okay, is that no team has faced more batters. No bullpen has faced more top 6. The top 6 relievers in that Padres bullpen has faced more batters than any bullpen in baseball. With that comes this, and this is my opinion. I think it's common sense, but while you may have been really good, you had to work really hard to do it, and it makes a difference. The bullpen, bullpens, if they're going to be fatigued at this point in the season, and they're playing, not the San Diego's playing in hot weather, but if you get that bullpen in some hot weather, then it's a factor. It's a factor, the fact that this bullpen has been overworked for the most part. So you're right. That's probably part of the reason they haven't been great. And I would agree with you on the over. Here's the problem. I tried hard to find a way to play San Diego. I can't play that price. I never play run lines on home teams. I just don't do that because it's like, for me, it's like buying a used car at that car's sticker price when it was new. It's just a horrible analogy maybe, but it's just something I wouldn't do, and you wouldn't do either. That you may bet the home teams on the run line, but -1 I will do. Every once in a while I'll find a way. And -1 was still about the best juice I could get on -1 in San Diego, and it was about -168. So I just didn't do it. I almost played the over in this game because I agree with you, despite the fact that the Miami starter in this situation, and he's a young kid. I think he's 27. He's in his prime. I believe he's 27, if I'm not mistaken. But Zach Thomas didn't have a very good start. It doesn't look too bad against the Mets, but he went 4 innings. He gave up 3 runs on 3 hits because he walked 2 and only struck out 2. And that's really his issue, is missing bats, guys. He threw 77 pitches, and what the Marlins skipper and staff saw was a guy that wasn't right, and they got him out. They ended up losing 5-3. If you look at Thompson, since May, I think it was not take it back. It was end of June, the 26th. It's the last time that Thompson pitched in a game that the Marlins won. 5 straight losses. Here's the totals in those games: 5-3, 3-1, 5-2, 4-2, and an 8-7 game against Atlanta at Atlanta in a warm night with the wind blowing out. A final in 10 innings. And I could pull up the box score. Who knows? They may have scored 5 runs in those. The way extra innings are nowadays, 1 run helped. They don't even play for 1 run, as you all know, Drew. And in extras, they didn't. They only scored 1, but they did score in that game. 7 runs were scored in the 9th inning to send it to extras. So 8 total runs in the final 2 innings on an 8-7 final score. I like to play the over. Thompson hasn't been pitching to the over. He's been pitching okay, but this guy, the reason he's lost 5 in a row also is because Miami has been they've been almost a pimple offensively. It's been a sore they haven't been able to score. They every once in a while they pull out something out of that rabbit's hat and find some kind of magic fairy dust and put some balls in the seats. But for the most part, I would have to be over 7.5, mostly because it all makes sense here. It all makes sense. You're right. The bullpens are tired. Miami's been giving up runs like I give away Hershey's bars on Halloween, and I can't play under 7.5 with Thompson and San Diego. Now, how much emphasis, Drew, do you put on Tatis and this injury? And is it going to be season ending? Are they just playing a game right now and saying, we got him on the 10-day, the IL. We'll see how things go at that point in time. If San Diego doesn't, let's put it this way. Right now, they're still right there. But in the next, there's some decisions to be made for the San Diego team, and that is, if Tatis isn't right and they risk injuring him or doing damage to him that may be that might affect his future, then he may not come back. Not for the situation they're in. Third, not going to win this division, but yet fighting for that wild card. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Sure. I mean, the chat box liking it. Tony is on a roll. These analogies are fire today. The Hershey bars, just giving them out there. I'd love to see the Finn household in Vegas, on
we
Halloween
give out the
there,
big
Tony.
Ones. We get the big ones.
All right.
Yeah.
For sure, Tony. But we got to
start over. Yeah.
I think we got Brian back now. So, Brian, the chat box was saying you were playing a good hand in poker when you were frozen here on the show, which we got you out on your picture. But we got the nightcap here, 7.5 being the total. The Padres laying -250. Marlins going from a mile high near sea level now and giving up 33 runs to the Rockies. I don't know about this Marlins pitching staff right now. I don't know if it's bet on for me. What do you think of tonight, Brian? Yeah,
just one of the things Tony said, putting the balls in the seats. That should be a strip club's advertisement.
I like that.
Put the balls
I like
in
it.
the seats.
I like it. That's good. That's witty. I like it.
I'm a fan of Thompson. He's a guy. We talked earlier about a tall pitcher. He's a big piece of meat coming out of Miami, but he's pitched very well. And you take a look at his advanced stats; they've been just as good as Musgrove's. But Tony hit on it. Miami's just not scoring enough right now, and Miami on the road has really struggled. I love this Miami pitching staff. I just don't like the hitters, and they traded away their best hitter in Marte over the deadline, and they've got a couple other guys that are not 100%, and they're out of the lineup. So you have to figure Miami going against the San Diego pitching staff is probably going to score 2-3 runs tonight if they're lucky. That's not enough for me to back them. I think the line tells you that. The line is San Diego, basically a 250 home favorite. So normally I would take a chance on the dog right now with Miami, but they really have nothing to play for the rest of the season. Playing it out, the pitching matchup, the first 5 may have a little bit of value, but the full game, I don't want any part of them. So I'm going to be passing on this game. And the game that I froze on will end up being my best bet. So you really didn't miss anything if you tuned in and you just saw my face and my poker face. So we should be able to get to that in the best bet segment.
Yeah, Brian. It sounds like you had pocket aces in a poker game, according to the chat box. So it was good I guess good timing to be frozen in that one. And you talk about the Marlins offense there. 40% of their run production from Duvall and Aguilar. And if one of those guys isn't in the lineup, like where do the runs come? I'm with you. This Marlins lineup, it's just a lot of people. The average baseball fan won't know in their lineup. So watch out betting that. Although you get a big plus price there if Thompson's able to go, 7-8 innings and hold the Padres at bay. But Brian, you teased it there for a bit. We'll throw it over to you as we're up against it time-wise. Where are you going for best bet tonight?
Yeah, I'll go to the game that I was blacked out on right there with the Yankees of Kansas City. Taillon's been pitching great lately. But how long will that stay? You try to beat the line movement on these guys. You want to get ahead of the line movement. And right now you're paying heavy juice if you're playing the Yankees with Taillon. Hernandez is a guy I really like. He's got great stuff. He just has control problems. And that is the concern in this game, especially with the 90 degrees and the wind blowing out a little bit. But I like the Hernandez in the first 5 here against Taillon. I think it's a good matchup. And Yeah, and Tony talked about the Yankees hitters. They're missing 4 of their best bats in this game. So you're playing with a team that has only got half the starters going in this game. So I like Kansas City in the first 5. We're getting actually a plus 170, which is about 15 cents better than what you get for Kansas City for the full game. I like the Yankees bullpen better in Kansas City. So yeah, I think it's a nice price here, taking the plus 170 with Hernandez against Tyon here in the first 5. That's my best bet.
All right. Good stuff, Brian. And guys, for my best bet, I'm going to the nightcap here, the Marlins and the Padres, 7.5 being the total, plus money towards the over, at least even money, plus 100. I like it to the over. The Marlins letting up 33 runs to the Colorado Rockies, a near 400 batting average, by the way, from the Rockies in that series. I think that this Marlins bullpen pretty spent right now, where and offensively they were able to put up 14 runs themselves. So coming here to Petco, if they can put a couple up, I think the Padres get theirs. I like the Padres team total over, but for record-keeping purposes here, I'll go over 7.5 Marlins and Padres in the nightcap. Also, both bullpens not performing that well the last 2 weeks to month either, so the number's not good in the later innings. So over 7.5 Marlins and Padres. Tony, where are you going for best bets tonight, man?
I'll make it quick if I can, if I know how. I'm going to go to Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going to go to the I guess we're going to go to Wrigley Field, right? Milwaukee, Chicago, AL or NL Central matchup. And in quick, the Brewers' offense was a concern for most pundits, most gamers, you guys, in the first half of the 2021 campaign. They've been better. This team is finally they've been better, not just since the All-Star break, before the All-Star break. And the pitching's been there. And the bullpen, it doesn't have a Goose Gossage, but it just possesses arms like Hader, although Hader is out right now. Williams, Boxberger, more. But tonight's starter, Freddie Peralta. Brian mentioned this. If you look at some of the underlying peripherals and his advanced metrics, it's stupid, sick, good. Incredible. You mentioned it also. The pitch count he's on is because he's at an all-time. He's at a season high in innings pitched right now at what 100. I think it's 114. Never pitched this many innings. And then of course last year, being the 60-game sprint, he certainly didn't stretch out in that situation. This is a guy that's always wanted to be a starter. They made him a starter. This is what he's done. He's 8-3 with a 2.21 ERA. Had the Brewers been able to score in the first half like they're doing now, very, very possible that he's 10-1 with a sub-2, possibly a sub-2, because if they're scoring, he pitches a little differently, doesn't take some of his. But in 18 games, I think 17 starts, only 53 hits, 114 innings, 154 strikeouts, opponents batting 122 against. That's just sick stuff, guys. That is Bob Gibson good. And the Cubs have never looked worse, in my opinion. And they've never had any success against Peralta. On batted balls in tonight's lineup, the potential of the players or the bats in the lineup, such as Bodie and Wilson C. and Happ, 174 with an OBP of 222. 19-5 K to BB ratio of those Cubs bat. Only Ian Happ has hit a home run. He's 1 for 11. His only hit against Freddie, a home run. Roughly a year ago, Mills was the author of a no-hitter. And a surprising author. I say surprising because, and it was against these same Brewers, guys. He came into that game in a 5-day stretch where he had an ERA over 7. And this is a guy that tops out about 90. His breaking balls can go as little as 67 miles an hour. The Cubs are dead in the water. They're kicking the ball around, and they don't have anybody to as Brian put it, they're AAA. He said AAA 4A. I say AAA 2A. Brewers minus 1.5 all night long.
Tony Quick Finn, everybody, as we head to recap in the best bets there. He made some good points, though, in that best bet. Really has me looking towards the Brewers minus 1.5, minus $1.25 on that as the road run line favorite. We get Bryan Leonard, Royals first 5 plus 170, big plus price there. And I'm on the nightcap, Marlins and Padres over 7.5 for Bryan Leonard, Tony Finn. I am Drew Martin. Huge shout out to the chat box. As always, guys, over 300 people watching. We really appreciate it. Please smash that like button on your way out. And guys, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Best of luck with your bets until then. Talk to you tomorrow.
The GOAT.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Matt Joseph easily took the 2020 college football crown at Sports Memo, picking up plus 71% in profit for his clients, winning 62% of his college selections with a final record of 98, 59, and 3. For unlimited time, you can get the first 4 college football weekends starting on Saturday, August 28, 2021, and running through Saturday, September 25th, 2021, for only $149 versus a regular price of $330. As an added bonus, we'll include any NFL side, total, or prop plays Matt releases during this time at no additional charge.